Hey, Dr. Amanda here for another week of NFA Love. And we're going to talk about whether or not love languages need to be aligned to stay connected in a relationship. Because you all so far are loving our videos and we want to bring you more. We also want to know what you want to hear more about. So in the comments, let us know, what do you want to know about in terms of intimate relationships, how to have a high quality relationship. You all know that I struggled in my past with relationships, and here I am with the love of my life, super psyched about my relationship. And so I want to bring tips to you. My highest value is teaching. And so helping you thrive in relationships is really important to me. And it's just another aspect of NFA style living. You know, no fucking around love, where you have a relationship that you really enjoy. So that's what Abe and I want to talk about today on this episode of NFA Love. Yeah, love languages.
Well, it's a good question. Do they have to align?
Yeah.
And I have had that. And we've talked about, we talk about past relationships a lot, and what worked and what didn't, a lot of what didn't. But yeah, I've experienced them not aligning. I would say in our relationship, fortunately, they're very aligned.
Yes.
And it works well.
So real quick, in case people don't know what the 5 love languages are. Yes. So this is Gary Chapman, and he wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages, and you can even take his quiz online. I think it's a really powerful quiz. So there's 5 types. So there's physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gift giving. And when Abe and I got together pretty quickly, we took the quiz. We were really nerds about being in love. We're very sappy.
We were doing charts the next
week.
Oh,
totally. We met and then we're like, oh, let's do our chart. And actually he texted me at the same time that I was doing it with my friend. She was doing our chart, and his ex-wife is an astrologer, and so she was doing our chart, and we messaged each other almost at the same time doing each other's charts. So we were like, ooh. So fun.
That was crazy.
So also we did the 5 love languages quiz, and our numbers showed up very, very closely aligned.
Yes.
So ours are top, our physical touch and quality time, and they're almost, very matched.
Yep.
We both love those things. So
I mean, without even thinking about it,
like,
oh yeah, physical touch must be.
Oh yeah. We're always always holding hands and touching and hugging and kissing, and we just in the car. I mean, just all the time.
So true.
We touch each other a million times a day, which I love.
Obviously, top love language.
Yes. Okay, so what do you think? I mean, thinking about past relationships and things like that, in terms of this question, do they have to be aligned? What do you think?
Well, speaking, one man's opinion, for me, yes, obviously. It did not work in the past. Not having them aligned, but I think it's possible. I think anything's possible. I just think maybe it's more communication. I think you just might have to work harder and be more present and aware in the relationship of what you're giving and what you're receiving, and what you're prioritizing.
I think something that's interesting in relationships is that often people think that they end up giving what they want to get.
Yes.
And they forget to look at what the other person wants. So let's say that his highest was gift giving and it's my lowest. I don't really care about gifts at all. It's lowest. It almost didn't even register.
Well, it was low for me as well.
So let's say it was highest for you though. Yeah. I would need to break free from my lack of desire for that and decide to buy a lot of gifts for him, right? For him to feel loved. And so I think if you're conscious of that, you can create it.
Yeah, you are. And being prepared to maybe receive.
Yes.
Or communicate, that it's not a priority. I laugh about the gift giving. I think the last 2 Christmases, I don't think we got a ornaments for each other.
We did with pictures,
but
family photos or pictures of us.
But going to quality time, which is our number 2 for both of us, instead of gifts and, these physical things, we're more into the experiences.
Always.
So we got the cabin for the family, and stayed, and it was a big quality time for everyone. So
totally, it's so interesting, right? Because the love language that shows up with him is also with our kids and our family. So we were like, oh, let's rent a huge house and have this fun time all together, which is quality time. So for us, it's such a high value that we didn't get anything for each other this year. The year before we got each other, it was an ornament.
Yeah, I get you an
we both
ornament.
got the same thing for each other, which was really fun.
You got me a magnet.
Yours was a magnet with a picture of a trip, and his was an ornament for the tree, which was so sweet.
Yeah.
And
it was custom. It was custom and had a very sweet picture and an inscription on the back.
Yes. So. It is interesting to think about, though, because if gift giving was really high on your radar, it would actually stress me out.
I know,
because I would have to pay a lot of I would choose to pay a lot of attention to what you were desiring, and because it's not something that's on my radar, I would need to be really conscious of it. So I think a lot about love and money and the overlap of the two, and the way to make more money is to be conscious and build your wealth consciousness, your money confidence. Same thing in a relationship. You've got to decide to be confidently, consciously connected to the person you're with. And so I don't think it's a deal breaker if you, let's say, like acts of service or gift giving was your highest. It would just take more strategic awareness.
Yes. Yeah. Understanding, communication. Expectations. And forgiveness, perhaps. So here's one. Do they change? Do your love languages change over time? For me personally, they absolutely have. I have valued other things in other relationships that I've had. I used to think acts of service was very big, and it was at a time.
What's an example of an act of service for you?
For me, and hopefully I'm not butchering the book or what it really means.
It's okay if you are.
This is all subjective. For me, it's doing things for someone. It is, I don't know. I do make you tea in the morning.
Every morning you make me. That's definitely
potentially an act of service.
It's interesting though, because I see it as almost as physical touch and quality time, because we make tea and then we sit together on the couch and like hold hands and snuggle and do our morning routine.
More ritualistic. So,
but it is an act of service, definitely.
But it's things like that, or it's doing chores around the house, or okay. It's making me think a lot about our connection and how I don't think mine has. I think mine physical touch. Well, okay, this is what I'll say. I have adapted myself in past relationships to try to fit something I wasn't. So, a love coach that I worked with called it abandoning yourself for connection. And I definitely have done that in the past, where I downplayed my need for physical touch to be able to adapt to the relationship and try to force it to work. Okay. Now, this wouldn't have had to be the case if the person or the people that I had been with had known, and I had, would have been better about expressing that was a need for myself. And sometimes I did, and sometimes the person just couldn't show up that way for whatever reasons. And so to me, the importance is, I do think they can change over time, sometimes by choice, sometimes by adapting yourself to have something growth
could be growth. I don't know though, like I'm curious, like do you think about love languages as it's like a personality quiz? I mean, I really do wonder, did you adapt yours over growth, or was it because you contorted yourself to fit the person's needs or try to be loved in a way that worked in that relationship?
Great question. That is going to take longer than this podcast, I would tell it, or this video. It's a long form. I
mean, it's an important question, though, right?
Yeah.
Because I think I think it's very detrimental to a relationship to force yourself to try to fit something and get your needs met in other ways. I mean, for me, I had an affair. So, like, part of that was I needed physical touch in a different way than I was getting. And that wasn't the only reason. There's lots of things going on there. But it was like I was very starving for the type of physical touch that I was looking for. And so, that's a pretty good example of not having a need met and finding it elsewhere.
And I think that's important. And perhaps a big
that's
takeaway.
That's a whole nother episode.
Well, yeah. Well, and a big takeaway for here is, know thyself.
Yes.
And being honest.
Boom.
With yourself about what that is. It's, on first glance and on the surface, I do feel like my love languages have shifted, from relationships, and was that me in the past trying to fit in or contort? Or was there some growth? Or do a couple of people just totally vibe out on each other?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Meaning, when you say vibe out, meaning they vibe in the opposite direction?
No, or they vibe out together.
Okay, vibe out, like in a good way. Like us.
In a good way. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, words. Yeah. I think about these things a lot. And for all of you watching, I think these, know thyself. Key takeaway, we don't need to say anything else. Know thyself and know thy partner, right? If you want to have a connected, high quality relationship, you've got to talk about this stuff. I think knowing yourself creates a space of confidence so that you can then ask for your needs to be met, which I hadn't always done in the past. And as I learned how to do that, it was a lot easier to say, hey, this is really important to me. And also to, give and receive it in a totally different way than I ever had before. And so, I definitely attribute a lot of our connection to that. We are so in tune in these ways. It's like physical touch is, like we said, we do it all the time. And quality time, those two are so integrated into our daily life. Well,
in the previous video, we had talked about some routines and how we do stay connected.
Yes.
And that is, through a lot of quality time.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
Tying it together.
Definitely.
Call back.
Yes. So we're going to keep bringing stuff like this to you. Really, we talk about, because we love quality time so much, we talk about our relationship all the time. And we love to, consider and reflect on what has our relationship having us feel so good and just share it with you. So if you're getting a lot out of this, click on the thumbs up. That helps us and YouTube know that you like it so that more people can find us. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you're getting out of this, what your love language is.
That would be great.
That'd be fun to know.
Has it changed?
Ooh, what's your love language and has it changed? Leave that in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and we will be back again next week with another video for you. Until then, we're going to do some physical touch and see you next time. Mm-hmm.